What's going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to your latest Manchester United news. Me and Owen are going to take you through it. A lot has been happening today, a lot. So we've got a lot to talk about. But the first one, we've got to get straight into it. We've got to get straight into that. Manchester United interview Pochettino? Question mark. Question mark. Because one of the reports coming out of the French setup, the French outlet, Foot Market, and it's from Santi Aouna. He claims that Mauricio Pochettino has actually, in fact, been interviewed by Manchester United this week or within the last few days. We don't know whether that's true or not. But what we're seeing is, I mean, everything was very Ten Hag focused the last few days or the last week or so. He's had his interview. The feedback was good. They was impressed with this. They was impressed with that. Now it's gone on to Pochettino. There's other reports today that are saying that Manchester United are, not prepared to sabotage another campaign by waiting until January to get Luis Enrique. The idea of him splitting his time between Spain and United for the first half of the season was a non-starter for the hierarchy, despite the high regard they have for him. That coupled with Samuel Luckhurst and some others saying that, he's still on their list. And then the Mirror go on to say that despite Man United not really liking that fact that he's going to have to split his time between Spain and United, they still intend to honour their stated process of speaking to all managerial candidates and will make contact with Enrique and his representatives this week. But we'll talk about that. So there's so much to get into in this vid. Pochettino, exactly. Where do we start? I mean, like I said, we've chosen Pochettino because I think it's important to do that, because not because of what I've said in the past, where I then flip-flopped and went to Ten Hag when I spoke to Ajax, and that's all part and parcel. That's all part and parcel. There's a lot of excitement. But if he has been interviewed, how does that make you feel? Is that just part of the process for you? Or are you still thinking good because he's your guy and you want him to get it? Or does it affect you at all?
To be honest, not really, because I feel like this is a recruitment process. And I know that might frustrate people because they might... Sometimes what we want to happen is Ten Hag interview goes great, you get offered the job, boom, boom, boom. And it doesn't really tend to work like that, right? No. United have been, well, certainly with obviously what they've told the media, pretty transparent in the sense that they have this process that they're adhering to. We spoke last week that possibly the reason why people were talking a lot about Ten Hag in the interview is that actually he might have been the first person to be spoken to. Now, I'm not sure if he was the first person to be spoken to because he was the preference. You speak to your first, the best option first. I don't know. But certainly he was, it seemed like that was the first person to be properly interviewed for the job. And everyone got really excited about that. I suppose what we don't know is that there might be 2, 3, 4, 5 people that United want to talk to. It would appear so, certainly, wouldn't it? And Pochettino's the next step. I don't think it would probably be the first time they've spoke, historically, right? I'm sure there have been intermediaries, and they're doing, I suppose, what all of us fans are doing. They're doing pros and cons of every candidate. And that's not just in terms of tactics and what they can deliver for the club. It's in terms of how they can facilitate that deal to happen in the first place. Pochettino's a very complicated deal to do at the moment because he doesn't really know what his future looks like. PSG don't know what his future looks like. Whilst they've basically won the title, they're still not necessarily happy. There's a lot of conflict going on around in that club.
And the money
all of it's just, all of it's exactly. That's what I mean. It's just it's just very challenging. So when I see that United have interviewed Poch, I'm a bit like, possibly. I'm a bit like, well, of course, because in any recruitment process, right, Flex, like, if you, and I think everyone that's gone interviewed for a job has gone through this, is that you interview for the job. And what do they always say at the end of it? Yeah, we've got a couple of other people we're going to talk to.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
We'll let you know. And from someone, I used to work in recruitment, and from the other side, you do that because if you have a great interview, you go, that guy's really good. That guy goes really, really good. But you always want to go, let's just compare it.
Let's check
to someone.
Exactly. Even to reaffirm why that's your #1 pick. Or
exactly,
oh, bloody, I didn't think we'll get that from this candidate. Oh, that's put a spanner in the works. Let's look at that. And what I have to say as well, from Fabrizio Romano was saying earlier on, he does some stuff on the United Stand, and he was basically saying that they haven't met with him directly. It's normal. They're talking to the representatives of many
Yeah.
managers. Hence why also, which does marry up with the fact that then we're seeing from the Mirror that Manchester United are still planning also to speak to Enrique's representatives. You know, there's probably others. I mean, I saw Lopetegui is still in there and about. You know, they might talk to his, and that's what I think the important thing to remember with this is exactly what you said. Is like, we want it done now. You know, forget what's going on at Ajax. Forget how that club is run, what they need to achieve. We've got nothing to play for this season, only top 4, depending on who you ask. But realistically, we can't, not
Marcel.
realistically, factually, we can't win anything. Yeah. So our season's done. Yeah. So all our attention is now turned to get this manager in right now, wherever he's from, just get it done. Pay the money, get him. If it's PSG, put the 15 million down, get him out. Doesn't work like that. If it's Ajax with Ten Hag, don't worry about their title race. Pay the 5 million compensation where it's not about money and he's the cheapest option and arguably the best. Pay it and get it out. They'll have to worry about it. It just doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? No. Even if we want it, even if we were ready to do it, even if I believe, even if Man United said, do you know what? We do want Ten Hag. We've decided. We want to get it all done now. Ring up Edwin van der Sar. Right, we've made our mind up, Edwin. Here's 5 mil. We're going to announce it next week. Is that all right with you? I'm like, no, it's not.
Exactly.
No, it's not, mate. I've been an amazing servant to Man United. Depending on who you ask, arguably Man United's best ever keeper. Some people say. You know what I mean? Depending how you feel, Schmeichel. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, he's still got a job to do and a club to run. And actually, remember, Ajax is his first love. Like, you know, yes, he achieved great things at Man United, but Ajax is his. So I just think, you know, we just have to keep being patient. I think they're doing their due diligence. We can get into a point where we just get angry and keep saying, "Oh, the club they just never get anything done. They don't do this, they don't do that." And the track record of bad decisions that's led us into this situation. Absolutely, I get that. I get the frustration. But
that's maybe why. That's maybe why they're doing what they're doing right now, is because they're like, I tell you what, we've got it wrong so many times before, or maybe we rushed into it, or maybe, for instance, say Jose, I don't even know if they were talking to anyone else at that period of time. Yeah, and maybe they look back on it and gone,
one seemed like, bloody hell, City just got
just him.
Jose's free, just get him. He's
exactly. It was just him. And then maybe they're a bit like, you know what? And then with the Ollie situation, they kind of backed themselves into a corner whereby you kind of had to almost give them the job with what was going on during that period of time. And maybe they've just gone, you know what? And this is, again, how you have to kind of look at it. Ideally, yes, we would love for them to get it done now. And I'm sure they would, to be honest. I'm absolutely sure they would love to have everything in place. But you also have to be conscious that we're not the only club in the world. And we're not the only club in this conversation either. You know, and like you said, when it comes to, say, Ten Hag, I mean, what if, like, all of this happened and it did derail the remainder of their season? They don't win the title. Like, they've also just had, like, Overmars left as well. There's a lot of moving parts at that club at the moment as well. And I'm sure Edwin van der Sar, I'm sure Edwin van der Sar's probably looking at it and going, you know what? Quite a bit of moving parts. I don't really want to shake that to the end of the season. We've been gracious enough for you to have the conversation with Manchester United in the first place. They allowed that to happen, which they could have been played super hardball and gone, no, actually, let's wait to the end of the season. We'd rather you don't. They facilitated that. So again, I look at it as just an ongoing process. I also look at it as, realistically, is anything going to be announced in the next couple of weeks? Manchester United would hope it would, but I doubt it probably will, because, again, other things are going on. So between now and the end of the season, there is this process, this interview process, and every single time someone is spoken to, it will get spoken about. And, you know, who's to say if we did interview Enrique, then suddenly the next story would be, Enrique spoke to United. Maybe it's a bit closer. And I know some people will say it's an unrealistic deal to do with Enrique. And I'm one of those people, especially when you look at his commitments to the end of the year. But from United's perspective, they might be like, well, we don't know unless we talk to him. If we talk to him, we might get a different story. Or if we speak to his representatives, maybe something can be worked out. And whilst it's frustrating and whilst it's slow, I would rather... We've emphasized so much, this has got to be right. This one's got to be right, because if it's not right, we're in trouble. And how do you get it right? You don't take risks. You know, you do your due diligence. You make sure you pray. If this was an exam, you're studying hard. Okay, you're not cramming the night before. You're spending weeks and months making sure you know the questions, the answers to all the questions. And that's what I think they're doing. Whether that's with Poch, whether that's with Ten Hag, whether that's Enrique, Lopetegui. Who knows? It might even be someone else. They might even say, actually, you know what? Let's talk to someone else.
Actually, that's what I was going to ask you. And you guys at home, you know, drop your views in the comments as well. Let us know how you feel. I know the community has spoken and the fan base has spoken, really, if you gauge it. Yeah. I would say heavily in Ten Hag's favor. I think we all can agree on that, yeah? My question is to you guys and you, Owen, are you fixated on those two, as in you clearly can't foresee it being anybody other than them two? Samuel Luckhurst did say as well, he tweeted earlier that he'd be surprised if it wasn't Erik Ten Hag. But let's just take Ten Hag and Pochettino as the two. Do you think there could be, like, you know what, Enrique done really well. I couldn't believe how well he spoke. Yeah, let's do that. Like, someone just completely not even mentioned.
I would be surprised. The only way I could see it happening is if, for whatever reason, the Ten Hag and Pochettino deals don't happen. And there could be reasons for that. Let's be honest. We know that Ten Hag have people interested in him.
Yeah,
maybe he chooses. Maybe he chooses them. Maybe he chooses them over us. And then maybe it's a case of, like some of the reports have said about Poch, because there's so much going on at PSG, because maybe Leonardo leaves, maybe, I don't know, maybe Neymar goes and Mbappe goes. Maybe it's actually, you know what, we kind of need to keep our managers just to keep things somewhat secure. And then maybe our two prime top targets aren't available. Then United have to pivot and go somewhere else. So that would be the situation. I think that could happen.
But that's everyone's worry with taking too long as well. Because
exactly.
That's another thing.
I think that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing with the Ten Hag situation, right? Isn't it? Is that United fans want him. The interview's been had. Reportedly came across well. And, you know, everyone just was hoping, okay, maybe that'll get done. And then it was suddenly the here and the point of, there are other people interested. And you go, oh, okay.
Exactly.
That's the problem, you know. That's when you go into the shop and you go, yeah, how many of those you got left in stock? They go, one. You go, okay, I'll just go get the money, come back for it. And they go, someone else was looking at it earlier today. And you go,
new car thing, innit? Go get the new car, whatever is in stock is exactly that. Like these are selling like hotcakes, mate. So if you don't want it, if you do want it, sorry, you better
see that last PS5 on the shelf.
Put a deposit down and secure it, because I can't guarantee you that by the time you go to the ATM and come back, it's still going to be here. And I know that sounds a little bit nuts, but in theory, with if you've got a highly tipped manager, which Erik Ten Hag is definitely that. United do need to move quickly, but at the same time, they need to dodge them hurdles of how quickly will Ajax allow them to move. That's another thing that we have to remember. And with Pochettino, it just feels really odd to me with the Pochettino thing. Not that he's linked with us, because that's obvious. Just with the situation at PSG, complex, you know, we got what we got before was PSG would love us to come in with a bid and say, listen, here's the 15 M's. We'll take him off you. When we're like, but we can just get him at the end of the season for free, because you're going to sack him and you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, you're giving the 15.
You give him the 15 because we can get him for free. You don't want him anyway.
Exactly.
So that actually is quite a complex situation. I mean, I think we're in a situation where most of our fan base probably doesn't care about that situation, because they don't want Pochettino anyway. But let's reverse the role. Say this was Erik Ten Hag in that situation at Ajax, right? I know you could argue that, well, people wouldn't want him then, Flex, because he wouldn't be doing a good job, etc. But I'm just saying, just swap the names around. Yeah, everyone would be saying, listen, it don't matter what it is, pay the money. Pay the money. But no one's really talking about the fact that it's actually kind of difficult to get Pochettino, and it's easier to get Ten Hag, which everyone prefers anyway. So let's not even worry about that problem, because no one even wants Poch, or not a lot of people do. So that there is actually interesting, because even if Man United, the board, have decided, or they really, really want Poch and they're just trying to wait and work it out, that's a big sticking point, because they don't want to part with 15 million quid for someone they can get for free in the summer. They didn't even do it over Jadon Sancho when it was tipped for 120 million pounds. They went, sod that, we'll wait. And we were fuming as fans, fuming. What are we doing? Get the money.
But ultimately, they probably got it right. In the end, they ultimately got it right. And again, their past experience, they'll be like, you tell you what, we did haggle, but yeah, in the end, we got it right, ultimately, you know. And I think they'll probably be thinking the same. Either one, you look at it, nothing gets done till the summer. Yeah. And I think between now and then, that's going to be the situation. There's nothing really ultimately gets done till the summer. And the question is then, does this then continue between now and the summer? It probably does.
I think it does.
Flex. There are more interviews to come, I think.
more interviews to come. And I think the fact that we're here, and again, you take these at face value. These are not, you know, I don't know this for sure. These are just reports that me, you, and I can all see for ourselves on the internet. We just discuss it. But it does, if Man United are going to stay true to what they've said and, you know, honor the process, then, like you said, they are just going to keep speaking to different people, even outsiders, even people with, you know, I know we might say, what's the point? What's the point in wasting your time? But like you said, it's due diligence, and it's almost to reaffirm why your number one choice is your number one choice, you know. But then how much more warning signs, not warning signs, how much more indications, positive indications do you want? How much reassurance do you need before you part ways with money and put a contract down? Because there was a German reporter, I can't remember his name. He was on Sky Sports the other day, and he was the one who was basically explaining that there's other clubs interested in him, and if Man United want him, they basically have to move quick. And even Romano was saying that earlier today. It's not necessarily they don't have to announce it, you know, but they need that indication, because when you're looking at play, it's going to affect the market, it's going to affect the players, it's going to affect you know, new contracts, it's going to affect new players who want to come, agents want to know for their clients. So even if it's in secret, which let's face it, if Man United strike a deal for Eric Ten Hag but want to keep it a secret, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
That's why we know it hasn't happened, because if it had, we'd know. We know. Even if some secret deal was even facilitated at this point, we would know. And the only thing I will say about the other people being interested, and I don't know the Ten Hag side of it, but maybe United might look at it as, well, you know, I don't know if really, yes, you're sought after, but is that a case of trying to sort of speed up, you know, the whole situation on his part? You know, like we said, the whole, well, other people are interested as well, that kind of situation. I mean, I'll flip the question back to you, Flex. You mentioned, is it going to be anyone but those two? Could you see anyone else? I mean, they're mentioning Lopetegui, they're mentioning Enrique. Could you see one of those? Lopetegui, I really don't see.
No, I think that's so far. I don't even know where left or right, which was the right one to say. It's so far not the thing. It's so far not it for me. I can't see that happening. The Luis Enrique one did.
If he was available, I think that's different.
I think
that is different.
I think he's right in there if he's available. But I do think that is a big problem. I don't think you know. It depends how much you want it. If you really wanted him, you would sign it, announce it, and say Ralph's going to stay until Spain get knocked out or they win or whatever it is. And what's that?
The position of the World Cup.
Finishes at Christmas.
It's the position of the World Cup, isn't it? Is that if this was if the World Cup was taking place at a normal time, it would be taking place in the summer, and then you would go, we can organise that deal, we can get that done. But the World Cup isn't taking place in the summer; it's taking place in the winter.
Didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Van Gaal with Holland.
Several managers have done it. You know, Conte did it at Chelsea as well. You know, it's happened several times.
Because of COVID, and that's in the middle of the season. Well, not in the middle, but the first few months of it. That's a big problem for United.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you plan in the summer? When in the summer we got shit to do in the summer. Big shit.
Oh, big stuff to do in the summer, and also as well. If the interim manager was going, and like, I don't think Ralph's doing a bad job, must be said, but if the interim manager was working really well, we'd be happy to extend it a few extra months, wouldn't we? But we recognise a lot needs to be done, and we can't take any more time.
Massive point, because you know, say we had top four in the bag, and we were in the FA
playing
Cup
good stuff.
semi-final, you know, we were through to the
still the Champions League. Yeah.
Everyone would be like, yeah, Ralph's doing fine, mate.
A couple of extra months. Yeah, of course. Of course you do it. Of course.
But because
have a good World Cup, win the World Cup, and then imagine winning the World Cup and then coming to United. We'd be buzzing. Oh, it'd be amazing. The Spanish Messiah's coming in. New days. Here we go, Manchester United. It's well run. And that is not happening. And United are aware that they need to get something done now. I'm with you. I think that if he was available, Luis Enrique would be such a valid option for what he did at Barcelona as well, which is not an easy job, even though you've got Messi. It's managing personalities, managing expectation. He got it so right there.
He's
that maybe
reinvented
he
the
would
Spanish
do.
team out of the abyss
Yeah,
because they were
yeah,
being poor
which is
for a
not the
while.
best Spanish squad, especially what they were
Not
coming
by
off,
far.
you know, for those years of domination. So he's done a great job. He's a good coach. It's just availability, and United can't afford to wait. That's just the problem. I mean, this is the proper curveball, and it's kind of said that United wouldn't be up for it. But some managers have done club jobs beside international jobs. That isn't unprecedented either. It's unprecedented at Man United.
Man United ain't doing that.
But
No
I mean,
way.
would you be shocked to see them
We're
go,
just
look,
a bit
it's
on the side.
Enrique. Well, no, he's Enrique, but you know, he's also going to be doing both till the end of the
It's
year.
not FIFA. No. You know, like on the manager mode, you can, you know,
Yeah.
Canada have come knocking for you, or you know, Israel, Australia want you to manage them. Well, I'm Man United manager, mate. Nah, you're all right. I'm focusing on this.
I'll tell you what, it would be glad there would be David De Gea. Did you see what
I'm
happened?
just gonna say that. He's probably thinking,
the
"I
other,
don't come here."
yeah, the other keeper dropped out and he picked the Barcelona B team keeper.
But is that because he knows what the hair's all about? No, well, I read that he said, "Well, I just left it to the under-23s and said we need someone, so and they sent that guy, so that's who it is."
Well, I could imagine it might just be a case of, look, David, like you're not going to play anyway, so I'm not going to bother giving you the call.
He's done it in national level, isn't he? He's done.
Yeah, he is properly done. I tell you what is interesting as well, and I'm taking all over the place now. Did you see Louis van Gaal's comments about Erik ten Hag?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I'll tell you what I did think though. Louis van Gaal has not liked Man United for ages. Like,
specifically Ed Woodward, he can't stand him,
and everybody rates Van Gaal for that because he calls a spade when he talks about Man United, which is fair enough. He's lived through it, he's worked under it, and saw what a shit show it was at that point. Well, at the moment, it still hasn't really much fixed, but he, Samuel Arcos also said that it's, you know, when he first came in 14. He was moaning about the schedule of the preseason tour, basically saying, "Well, what, this doesn't even make sense. We're flying here, going to commercial, mate." I remember him moaning in press conferences at the time, it just goes to show you he has not changed his stance and will never change his stance ever.
No, never.
Will never change.
And if you ask him the question, he'll get the jab in always. You know, Erik ten Hag shouldn't be he should be going to a football club, not a commercial club.
Yeah,
Manchester United's a commercial club, and you could imagine everyone that was watching that as a United fan just sort of went,
yeah, 100%. I'll say that. And this is
like they've been slapped by Will Smith.
This is the this is the kit we had under Van Gaal as well. This one,
this exactly.
Is the one where we got Falcao and Di Maria and that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it as a bitter man because. Actually, he's not saying it to be bitter, but bitter is when you say stuff that isn't really true because you've got to be in your bonnet. Like he's saying stuff that has been true like that.
And I think his probably concern might be just, you know, Ten Hag, he might get sort of gobbled up by the, you know, monster that is Manchester United in terms of the size of it, you know, and well, you could is football the priority at Manchester United or is it other things? United's just it's the brand alone, the weight of it is a lot. You know, and even an experienced guy like Louis van Gaal, when he had a look under the bonnet, he went, there's a lot going on. And I think he might say, you know, I've been watching Ten Hag and that's a lot of pressure to manage. And maybe he can't manage that. Yeah, exactly. And that might be the situation there.
Well, there you have it, guys. Let us know what you think. Apparently, United have interviewed Pochettino. It's been reported. Romano has then said it's been in touch. They've been in touch with his representatives as opposed to actually a direct meeting with Pochettino, which would make more sense. I would, as a summary, I would probably lean more on that one because that just makes more sense to me. I think if Pochettino had actually been interviewed, I think we'll be getting a lot right now. You know, Pochettino vision. They were happy with this, or they weren't happy with that, or I just feel like it was quite a bit tame. So, you know, make your own mind up. That's what it's about. That's the report. That's what we decided to discuss. So you guys let us know what you think. Does that upset you that Man United have even bothered to talk to Pochettino, as a lot of the fan base do want Erik ten Hag? Is it annoying you at the fact that we're still going to go after Luis Enrique and meet with his representatives and basically speak to as many as we can? Or are you getting frustrated at the fact that we don't just go and get Ten Hag now or do all we can to get it done? You know, that's what we want to know. We'll be back with another video later on for you guys as well later on tonight, and we will see you all again very, very soon. Peace.